Recording in
Jaya Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. बोलिए हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय, जगत गुरु श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय, गौर प्रेमानंदी हरि हरि। Sujata Mataji, are you able to open the Bhagavad Gita online or using?
No, Prabhuji, I cannot open it. I do not have that capacity, but I can read it. You want somebody to read it, right?
Not necessarily. Okay, so just I will go with this. So let me. Light for you. Okay.
Because I'm not the host, so you.
Okay, I thought you are the host. Your name was saying, but that is fine. Okay.
Okay.
Om Jnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana-salakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutpadakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavasya Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitasya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanushute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Bhagavad Gita chapter 8 verse number 4. So 8.4. Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
purushascha daivatam
Purushashchadi Daivatam
Adhiyajna ahamevatra Adhiyajna ahamevatra
Adhiyajna ahamevatra
Dehe deha bhritambara
Dehe deha bhritambara
Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
Purushascha
Purushashyadidaivatam
Adhiyajna ahameva vatra dehe
Adhiyajna ahamevatra dehe
Deha Dehe deha bhritambara
Dehe deha bhritambara
Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
Adhibhutam charo bhavaha
Purushascha
Purushashyadidaivatam
Adhiyajna ahamevatra
Adhiyajna ahamevatra
Dehe deha bhritambara.
Dehe deha bhritambara.
Want to recite?
Adhibhutam ksharo bhavaha
Adhibhutam
Adhibhutam Shadabhava
पुरुषश्चाधिदैवतम्
Purushashchadidaivatam
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र
Adhiyagnoham evatra
देहे देहभृतां वर
Dehe Deha Vritambhara.
Anyone want to
Yeah, I
recite?
can recite. Adhibhutam Shadobhava
Adhibhutam charo bhava
Purushashchadidaivatam
पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्
Adhiyagnoham evatra
आदियोऽहम् एवात्र
Dehe Deha Vritambhara.
देहे देहावृतं वरा
अधिभूतं शरो भावो
Adhibhutam Shadobhava
पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्
Purushashchadidaivatam
अधियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र
Adhiyagnoham evatra
देहे देहभृताम्बर
Dehe Deha Vritambhara.
Anyone else want to recite?
आदिभूतं क्षरो भावः
Adhibhutam Shadobhava
पुरुषश्चादिदैवतम्
Purushashchadidaivatam
आदियज्ञोऽहमेवात्र
Adhiyagnoham evatra
देहे देहभृतं वरा
Dehe Deha Vritambhara.
A word by word translation. Adhibhutam, the physical manifestation.
Adhibhutam, the
Adhibhutam,
physical
the physical
manifestation.
manifestation.
Charaha, constantly changing.
Sharaha,
Sharaha,
constantly
constantly
changing.
changing.
Bhavaha, nature.
Bhavaha, nature.
Purushaha, the universal form, including all the demigods, like the sun and moon.
Purushaha, the universal form,
including
including all the demigods, like the sun and moon.
Cha, and
Cha and
Adhidaivatam, called Adhidaiva.
Adhidaivatam, called Adhidaiva.
Adhiyajna, the super soul.
Adhyatma, the super soul.
Aham, I, Krishna.
Aham, I, Krishna.
Eva, certainly.
Eva, certainly.
Atra, in this.
Atra, in this.
Dehe, body.
Dehe, body.
Deha, bhritam, of the embodied.
Deha, Vritam, of the
embodied.
Vara, O best.
Vara, O best.
Translation and purport given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. O best of the embodied beings, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon, is called Adhidaiva, and I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyajna, the Lord of Sacrifice. One more time. O best of the embodied being, the physical nature which is constantly changing is called Adhibhuta, the material manifestation. The universal form of the Lord, which includes all the demigods, like those of the sun and moon is called Adhidaiva, and I, the Supreme Lord, represented as the Super Soul in the heart of every embodied being, am called Adhiyajna, the Lord of the sacrifice. Purport. The physical nature is constantly changing. Material bodies generally pass through 6 stages. They are born, they grow, they remain for some duration, they produce some byproducts, they dwindle, and then they vanish. This physical nature is called Adhibhuta. It is created at a certain point and will be inhalated at a certain point. The conception of the universal form of the Supreme Lord, which includes all the demigods and their different planets, is called Adhidaiva, and represent it represent and present in the body along with the individual soul is the super soul, a plenary representation of Lord Krishna. The super soul is called the Paramatma or Adhiyajna and is situated in the heart. The word Eva is particularly important in the context of this verse because by this word the Lord stresses that the Paramatma is non-different from him. The super soul, the supreme personality of Godhead seated besides the individual soul, is the witness of the individual soul's activities and is the source of the soul's various type of consciousness. The super soul gives the individual soul an opportunity to act freely and witnesses his activities. The function of all these different manifestations of the Supreme Lord automatically become clarified for the pure Krishna conscious devotee engaged in transcendental service of the Lord. The gigantic universal form of the Lord, called Adhidaiva, is contemplated by the neophyte who cannot approach the Supreme Lord in his manifestation as Super Soul. The neophyte is advised to contemplate the universal form of Virat Rupa, whose legs are considered the lower planets, whose eyes are considered the sun and moon, and whose head is considered the upper planetary. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Srilarumpa Swami Niti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunnavadi Paschata Desatarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. I am begging from all of you to give your blessings so that I can speak few words on this topic and also today is very auspicious day, disappearance day of Gopal Bhatt Goswami. So my thought is to just give the background of the whole sections, and then if we have time, then we can discuss little bit about the Gopal Bhatt Goswami. He is among the 6 Acharya and direct disciple of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I hope that should be fine to everyone. So in chapter 7, last 2 verses, Lord Krishna is describing 6 points he is bringing at the end of the chapter. So he gives 6 technical terms, 29 and 30. I am guessing 2 in the 29 and 4 in the 30. So intelligent person who are endeavoring for the liberation from what? Old age, birth and death. What to do? To take the shelter or refuge in the devotional service, or to become the Saranagat to the Lord through his representative. So one thing, and then that person, they are the Brahma, because they entirely know everything about the transcendental activities. Means what is Jiva, what is the relationship of the Jiva with this world, and then what is the relationship with the Lord, why he came, all those things. So Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishnera Nitya Das. And we have taken our choice as we were discussing. Lord doesn't, reading in the purport, Lord doesn't interfere whatever activities we are doing. So just he is witnessing there. So he has given freedom to us. So we came here and we are going to be going one body to another body and doing the Lordship here. And finally, it comes to the conclusion, we don't have anything under our control. Even our body is not our control. Forget about the wife, husband, children. People do try to control, like a freak control. I have seen a lot of people. But it is not going to work out in this material world. They can control for some times, and then after that, there is no chance of the control. So finally, they do take refuge to the Lord. And then 30, verse number 30 describe those who are in full conscious, means those who are surrendered soul of the Lord. Full conscious of the Lord means he's saying consciousness of me, who knows me, the Supreme Lord, to be the governing principle of the material manifestation. Maya Adhyatma Prakriti. So Krishna, he is the controller, supreme controller of the demigods. He is the god of the demigods. Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, that has been described in 529. So he is the Maheshwara. And of all method of sacrifice can understand and know me, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, even at the time of death. So he's making point at the time of death. So they are full consciousness of the Lord and know him. As he is the Supreme Lord, he is the Adhibhuta, governing principle of these material things. Adhidaiva, every demigods are residing there. And Adhiyajna. So he is the Jnana, means knowledge. Krishna is the knowledge. He is the object of the knowledge. He is the goal of the knowledge. Jnana geyam jnana gamyam. Then that person will be knowing him and he will be free from this material panch. So in Arjun, he asked, I think, 8 questions in first and second verse. So, and then after that, Krishna, he is discussing 8th question was, means how to attain the Lord at the time of death. So whole chapter is describing about that, how to attain the Lord at the time of death. Those who are failure are doing some other things, then where they will reach, all those things has been described. So, and this chapter is, if we will break down, it is into the 5 sections. 1 to 4, Krishna's answer to Arjuna's question. Arjuna asked questions. What is Brahman? And what is Adi, Adhyatma, Karma, Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhiyajna. So then Krishna is explaining in 3 and 4. So we are at the end of the 4. So 1 to 4 is Arjuna's questions, and 8th a question's answer will be later. Means whole chapter is how to remember the Krishna at the time of death. And then second section is called remembering Krishna at the time of death. So 5, 7, 8. So one attains whatever one remember at the time of death. Yam yam vapis marana bhavan tejante kalevaram. Kalevar means this body. So whatever thought will be there. Bhava means thought. What kind of thinking is there, accordingly that person will get. And Srila Prabhupada, he says our destiny is fixed. Whatever we will do the whole life, either good thing, bad thing, or akarma, means Krishna consciousness things, then at the death time, we will be having that kind of bhava. And then Krishna recommends Arjun to undeviatingly meditate on him, fix on him. That's why Prahlad Maharaj, he says that from the childhood, it has to be started. When any plant is there, the way we want to mold, then that can be molded. When it becomes the tree, we will try to mold according to us. It is not going to do. It will break, but it won't. So whatever we have acquired the things from our childhood to the time of death, definitely it is going to be same thing at the time of death, until unless there is a special mercy, special favor, or previous acquired thing is there. So many factors are there, but that is very common, means common thing. And then 8 to 13, remembering Krishna means practice remembrance through meditations. By meditating on Krishna and his quality, form, or pastime, or by practicing Yoga Mishra Bhakti. So one can think of the Supreme Lord, and when quitting the body and reaches to the Supreme Planet, means they will never come back again. And then 14 to 16, pure devotional service, means remembrance of Krishna through bhakti. By constant engagement in devotional service, one who undeviatedly remembering Krishna, there are 9 processes of devotional service. all 9 things or only one, it varies. So by doing those process, performing the process, easily can attain the Krishna's abode. And far from this measurable planet of this material world, and this planet, earthly planet, means this universe, beyond that universe, and then after that crossing this whole material creations and going beyond that, a Paramatma, meaning a para means a super soul, super soul, Paramatma. So going to the para of this material, beyond this. And then last section is 17 to 22, comparing the material and spiritual world, glories of the Supreme Abode. So Krishna has given the glimpse. Material world is continuously created and destroyed. That's what we were reading, Adhibhuta. So changing. Beyond this ocean means of the material creation, which goes to the destructions, and beyond that, Krishna's abode is there, and where he is present and can be attained only by unalloyed devotional service. Means Shuddha Bhakti, Vishuddha Bhakti. Shuddha Bhakti Mataji is here. So just by remembering, she's here in the class or not, I don't know, but she gives classes. So by remembering means performing the Shuddha Bhakti, we can go back home, back to Godhead. So 1 to 4, understanding Krishna through proper inquiry. Arjuna is asking, when he Lord told that can attend him at the chapter of last verse of chapter 7, means 7:30. Then Arjuna asked the 8 questions. So Krishna is giving, answering. So Brahman means indestructible, living entity, means spirit soul. We are body, correct? Our soul. So we are the body. So we are spirit. And then Adhyatma, controller of the body. So Krishna is the controller. And eternal nature, Adhyatma, eternal. And the self to serve the Supreme. We are whatever performing activities to go back home, back to Godhead. That also it is called the Adhyatma. And then karma means working, fruitive activities. Activity which generates material body for the living entities. So that is the karma. So in Bhagavad-Gita, 5 topic has been discussed. Anyone want to say what are those 5 topics? Hare Krishna. Ishvara, Jiva, Kal, Prakriti, and then karma. So 4, Ishvara, Jiva, Kal, and Prakriti, that has been described that Shaswata, eternal, and karma is changeable. That's why it has been mentioned karma, according to the karma, they will get different kind of body, or finally having the one body forever, means having the eternal body in back home, back to Godhead, in Vaikuntha planet. And then Adhidaiva, the supreme demigod, the universal form, which includes all the demigods and their different planets also in the universal form. When we were reading the purport Srila Prabhupada has given, his legs are the lower planetary system and upper portion is like that. So eyes means Surya, low Surya and Chandra, moon and sun. That has been considered. So those who cannot meditate on the Paramatma feature, simply just seeing by all those things, visualizing, and they can think about the Lord. It has been described in 9:16, I think, three kind of worshipper: Ekatvena, Prithaktvena, Sharvata Bahudho Mukham. And then, so these three, and then means Ekatven means those who want to merge into the Brahman. They are meditating upon themselves. I am the Brahman. And then Prithaktvena means worshipper of ghosts, demigods, and all those things. And then Sarvata Bahuto Mukham means universal form. And then apart from those, there is one Krishna's Lord, Krishna's worshipper, Bhaktas. And then Adhiyajna, the enjoyer of the sacrifice, Paramatma in every embodied being, and Paramatma is not different from the Krishna, and who is in not only one body, he is in every living entity's body, even including the atoms, each atom, electron, proton, neutron, they are getting energy from only Paramatma. That's why they are moving. And where does Adhiyajna reside? In the heart of the living entities. And then the eighth question means how to remember Krishna at the time of that whole chapter has been described from 5 to 22. So focus on the purport is Adhibhuta, means constantly changing physical nature, and that goes to the 6 changes, means it is born, and then after that maintaining, sometimes growing, and then maintaining, producing byproduct, children or whatever, and then after that their body is deteriorating and finally destroying, vanquished. So these 6 changes are there. And then Adhidaiva means universal form of the Lord. And then for the neophyte, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned they can meditate upon that because they can directly see and they can visualize, and that way they can meditate on the Lord's universal form. And like legs, lower planetary, if mind is going there, then upper planetary, then head, thinking about that Lord's head, and then eyes, sun, and like that. There are whole descriptions in the Srimad Bhagavatam about the universal form of the Lord. If we are seeing the trees, forests, or mountain, all those things, how to think about the Lord. So 5 things has been described: Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, and then Adhiyajna means function of the super soul, witness of the soul's activities means jiva's activities, and source of the soul's various type of consciousness, and then gives individual soul free independence. He doesn't interfere in our independence. He has given us freedom. He has given us choice. So we have taken the bad choice. That's why we are here and going through the miserable condition of the life. And then 5th is Eva. Srila Prabhupada has stressed that Paramatma is non-different from Supreme Lord Krishna Himself. And then who can understand the function of all these manifestations of the Supreme Lord? Clearly, those who understand that only pure devotee they can understand. So that is the whole things I have summarized. Any question or comment? Hare Krishna. In chapter 13:23, Lord Krishna, he has described that Upadrishta, Anumanta, Cha Bharta, Bhokta, Maheshwara, Paramatmeti, Cha Upyokto, Dehi Asmin Purusha Para. Para, it has been mentioned that yet, Para means transcendental. So, yet in this body, there is another, a transcendental enjoyer. We are not the enjoyer. He is the super soul, is the enjoyer, transcendental enjoyer, who is the Lord, the supreme proprietor, who exists as the overseer and permitter, and who is known as the super soul. So, Dehe Asmin Purusha Paraha means Purusha means enjoyer. If we will see the topic of the chapter 13, Prakriti, Purush and Chetana, I think the topic is there. Chapter's name is there. So he is the enjoyer. There are two kinds of Purusha. So one is living entity, but living entity is enjoyed by the Lord. He is the enjoyer is the Supreme Lord, and we are enjoyees, not the enjoyer. So he is the Purusha, and Ekala Krishna Ara Sababhrit. We are meant for his enjoyment, to serve him, in other words. And Sri Prabhupada, he has given wonderful commentary. I can read little bit. It is stated here that the super soul, who is always with the individual soul in the representation of the Supreme Lord, he is not an ordinary living entity. He is not ordinary. Because of his presence, he says in chapter 15 that whatever energy we are getting through him only. There are 5 Jataragni that comes from him only. He is the source of all those. So we are trying to digest the food stuff that comes, energy comes, he is the source of that. So Srila Prabhupada is mentioning he's always with the individual food. So in this material world, he never leaves living entity alone. He's that much means friendly to us and well-wisher. He is the best well-wisher. No one is better than him. But when someone is going back home, back to Godhead, he's not in the body of that living entities when he has the eternal form. But in this material world, he's always with that person. Because the monist philosophers take the knowers of the body to be one. They think that there is no difference between the supreme super soul and the individual soul. I was talking about 3 kind of different worshippers. So one is Ekatvan, so monism. Srila Prabhupada is saying that who thinks you are the Brahman, I am the Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi, that kind of mentality. And to clarify this, the Lord says that he is represented as the Paramatma in every body. He is different from the individual soul. He is para, transcendental. The individual soul enjoys the activities of a particular field. But the super soul is present not as finite enjoyer nor as one taking part in bodily activities, but as the witness, overseer, permitter, and supreme enjoyer. His name is Paramatma, not Atma, and he is transcendental, Para-Atma. It is distinctly clear that the Atma and Paramatma are different. The super soul, the Paramatma, has legs and hands everywhere, but the individual soul does not. So he is all pervading. But soul doesn't enjoy. How much we can expand ourselves. And because the Paramatma is the Supreme Lord, he is present within to sanction the individual soul's desiring material enjoy. He sanctions whatever they have, good or bad, accordingly he sanctions them. So sanctions come from him. Without the sanction of the Supreme Lord, the individual soul cannot do anything. The individual is bhukta or the sustained, and the Lord is bhukta. Bhukta means enjoyer. Bhukta means to whom enjoy can be taken place. Or the maintainer. There are innumerable living entities, and he is staying in them as a friend. So he is the best well-wisher. We should try to develop the relationship with whom? With Supreme Lord. And then thinking about him, there is a reciprocation for Chaturshloki verse. Those who knows he is the source of everything, engages in his devotional service, and there is a reciprocation from the Lord, and then can go back home, back to God. So I will stop here. Further, any question or comment? Hare Krishna. I hope everyone is able to hear me, correct?
Yes,
Prabhu. Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, Mantri. So any question or comment? If not, then we can talk a little bit about Gopala-Bhatta Goswami. 1, 2, 3. If any question, then fine, or comment. Otherwise, I'm going to talk about little bit about the Gopala-Bhatta Goswami. Ready for that? So Srila Gopala-Bhatta Goswami, today is his disappearance day, when most merciful and magnanimous Lord Gauranga Mahaprabhu, he was going for a South India trip and going from one village to another village. He reached near to the Kaveri and Sriranga Kshetra, very auspicious place, and Srirangam temple. He reached there. When he reached there, the temple, I never been there. I have been to other temple, but not to the Srirangam temple. But my plan is to visit one day there. I heard it is a very big temple. And then when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reached there, thousands and thousands of the people were there. And then Brahmanas were chanting the mantras, and then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu entered there. He was singing Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and it has been mentioned that thousands and thousands of the Gandharvas, they also started chanting the Krishna name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By seeing his effulgence, molten gold body, everybody was mesmerized. And then Venkat Bhatta, he was the priest, senior priest of the temple. He, by seeing the Lord, immediately he paid his obeisances and he invited Lord to come to his home. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to his home, and then Venkat Bhatta, he washed his feet and gave the Chanamrit to every of his family members. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he reached there 1511 that year. And then Venkata Bhatt, he has the two brothers, Thirumal Bhatt and Prabodhananda Saraswati. And all of them were belonging to Ramanuja Sampradaya. And Prabodhananda Saraswati, he was a Tridandi sannyasi. Venkata Bhatta, he had the son, his name was Gopal. And that time he was baby, like a small boy. Not baby, boy. And he came and offered his obeisances to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Immediately he took in his lap. And whenever, for the 4 months, Chaturmas, nowadays Chaturmas is started. This is the first month, the Shravan month. Today is the Sashti, 6th day of the Shravan. So he stayed there for the Chaturmas, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he used to give his remnants. After eating remaining things, he used to give. That way he has given his mercy, full mercy to Gopal. And when Mahaprabhu started trying to move from there to go further south, and that time Gopal started crying. He wanted to go with him. And he became unconscious, and then after that, Lord Chaitanya Prabhu told, stay here, serve to your parents when they will be gone, and then after that you come to Vrindavan. And he initiated him there. And then after that, when his parents left this material world, they went back home, back to Godhead, then he came to Vrindavan. And he learned Vyakarana, Kavya, and Alankara Shastra. He became the expert. He learned from his uncle, Prabodhananda. He gave him very good education. And whenever he was thinking about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was becoming unconscious. Then when he came to Vrindavan, that time he was 30-years old. And then he reached to Vrindavan, and already Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he informed to the Rupa and Sanatana Goswami. There are 6 Goswamis. Whole teaching of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came through the 6 Goswamis. Among them, Rupa Goswami. Sanatana Goswami, he is the elder brother. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they are brother, and their nephew is Jiva Goswami. He's elder than the Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So the whole teaching him. So already he informed them one day Gopala will come, Gopala Bhatta. So when he came, and then he sent a message to the Lord Chaitanya that Gopala Bhatta came. So Lord Chaitanya, he gave his sitting asana, wooden asana, and then also one of his adhovastra, and then also one of the uttariya he has given, chadar, he sent. So he used to worship. Still those things are there in the Vrindavan. And they become very friend. Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, they treated him like their own family member, their own brother. So one time he went to Nepal to take a bath in the Gandaki river. And that time lot of Sila came his Kamandalu. Then he sent him back, then again came, then he sent it again in the river, then again came, finally third time, then again came. So there were 12 Silas. So finally he took them and then he came to Vrindavan and he used to worship. One of the very aristocratic people, he came and he wealthy person and he gave lot of jewelry and other stuff and garments. So he told, I don't have any deity worship you can give to others, those who are having the deities. I have the Saligram Sila, I cannot decorate them. But he forced him, please keep it. So finally he left, means he took with him. And then after that, one time, Narsimha Chaturdasi time, he was meditating very seriously about the pastime of the Lord Narasimhadev, how he appeared from the seal, means that pillar, Silas, means pillar, he appeared. And after that he slept and next day morning, means Purnima, Vaisakha Purnima, I think. Yes, Vaisakha Purnima. So he took the bath and he came back to start the deity worship, means Saligram worship. Then there he saw one Sila became like a Krishna, deities, Tribhanga. So Krishna is having the three curves in his body in that form. And it is mentioned that sometimes Sila used to look like a Lord Chaitanya. So it became like a grand festival. He bathed with the 500 liter of the milk. How the Lord is merciful. You can think about that. He had the desire to serve the deities, but he was thinking, I don't have the deities. I have Saligram Silas. How I can decorate them? So one Sila became the Radharaman. He gave the name Radharaman. So there is no Radharani's deities in Radharaman temple. If you are going close to the Nidhi one, next to the Radharaman temple is there. All the original deities of the Vrindavan, they moved out of the Vrindavan during the Mughal time because they used to destroy the temple. Radha Govinda Devji, Radha Gopinath Ji, Radha Damodar, Radha Madan Mohan. So all of them, they went from there. But Radha Ramanji never went anywhere. Still he is there. And very elaborated temple worship is there. And even Saligram Silas, you can see the teeth also when you will, and also the nail is there to their fingers. Can you imagine it? And I heard that one time scientists wanted to come and see that. So under the guidance of the experts of the bhaktas, they have taken, and then after that, they became mesmerized because there is no indication of this has been the carved. So self-manifestation, Silas, backside of the Lord, you can see the Saligram Silas, backside, and front is Radha Ramanji. So there is no Radharani, but there is a significance of the Radharani is there. So their name is Radha Raman. And their worship is still worshipped by the same way. Topmost worship is going on. What happens? One time he was traveling to the Haridwar. On the way, there was some problem. Then he stayed at the Brahmana's place. Brahmana became really happy. He served very nicely to the Gopala Bhatta Goswami. And then Gopal Bhatta Goswami gave his blessing. Then he told, by your blessing, if I will have the son, I will give you for your service. So he had the son. And then after that, another son. So the son, he became 10-year-old. Then one day he came to Vrindavan and waiting for the Goswami. And then he asked, who are you? Then he told, my name is this. Let me find his name. Sri Gopinath. His name was Gopinath. So Gopinath, and then I am the son of that Brahmana. When you went to Haridwar, my father asked your blessing and you gave the blessing. So I was born and he has sent me to your service. So he served, he became the Nastic Brahmachari for the whole life. And finally he served to the Radha Ramanji. And then his younger brother, his name was Damodar Das, he came and he started serving to the deities. And their family, that lineage is coming from that family, and they are serving to the Radha Madan Mohanji. And it has been mentioned their service is the best service. And when Abhishek is going on, there is some festival, it is called Boat Festival. That time, their Charnamrita, it will sprinkle to the fan of the courtyard, and then by that very cool and soothing water will come up. So that is also the best thing to know that. When I was reading today and I was translating into the Hindi, it was amazing to hear those stories. And 1578, on this date, he disappeared at the age of 75. This is the little bit short story about the Gopala Bhatta Goswami and Radharaman. So Gopala Bhatta Goswami ki jai, Radharaman ji ki jai. Hare Krishna. So any comment? So we will stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavabhyo namo namah.